have a fantasy role play. So, this is about session 2. Now, what's important about this session? Well, the important thing about this session is that 2 of the players lost their sheets. Because one of the players had both of the sheets and completely lost them. So in the time we had to switch around with a bunch of sheets and just and we were thinking of doing another session, funnily enough, kind of like in the last session, so we got 2 new characters. However, I had them play as their old characters still, because they can still roleplay as their characters, and that can still work out. So the 2 new characters was... Oh yeah. Okay, so you remember that elf apprentice wizard? Her name is Vix. No, it's Vin. She is a elf from the Great Forest, high elf of the Great Forest, that I later find out had been basically running away from her master because she just wasn't being taught that much and thought that human magic would be easier to understand than that of elf magic, which I am inclined to agree with, to be perfectly honest, because I see the insular orders of magic with humans to be more advanced in that magic, in that specific magic, more than any high wealth wizard can be with, like, here's how I think about it. A high elf mage that can use multiple winds of magic, he's like a tsunami wave, while just one type of magic is like a fucking battleship, you know? Steel, you could barely toss this thing around. You know, there are 2 types of different forces. One's like, it warps the reality of the universe, while the other is just pure mental focus and fortitude. And that's something that can actually be really useful for the campaign. And that's why she ran away. Now, let me get to the new characters. So, there hasn't been anything spin on Grail besides him being really Scottish. But there have been 2 new characters and a 3rd new coming character. So, the new character is Rin. Now, Rin is a fraternity twin of Vin. You can get it with the Rin and Vin voices. Totally not getting that from Critical Role. Now, Marcus doesn't know anything about that. Oh, shit. Damn it. That one guy didn't know anything about it. Yeah, he doesn't know anything about Critical Role, but basically he has this weird, like, well, not weird, it's, they roleplay it really good, I'll say that much, who've been coming after his sister for leaving, basically, and now accounted for in Undergard. And the 2nd character is Albert, who currently, I know you're not supposed to have favorites as a DM, but oh my god, this guy has the worst luck and I love it, because he's more Warhammer than all the other characters. Because, remember, these players that I have, they're good at role-playing, stuff like that, but they're used to dealing with, like, D&D characters. Well, I am not looking for D&D, so it's not like I don't enjoy their characters, it's just that I enjoy D&D. I enjoy, damn, I really ruined that sentence. No, I enjoyed Warhammer and his Warhammer world. And so this guy, he's a grave robber, he's a curious small, he's really dumb. I mean, 28's not that bad, but when you're rolling for perceptions and investigations and search, perception, which is an int, go get fucked. That's incredibly hard. But we're gonna talk about Albert. So I introduced these characters quite differently, and let's talk about the third newcomer. So the third newcomer is another dwarf. This guy is a runesmith, fucking lucky rolls, am I right? For his basic career. Beginner runesmith. He just arrived. I basically explained that he'd been making runes for the army, and he saved one of the lives of the soldiers back then. So just to explain, he's been doing important stuff basically. While Rin just arrived to talk to Captain Schmidt about where his sister is. And Albert. So, Albert's origin. Albert, he's definitely scared of dwarfs. Like, extremely scared of dwarfs. And I informed him that he doesn't like more priests, because more priests hate grave robbers, and that they'll fucking kill grave robbers. So I informed him that those are guys that you avoid and you don't like. So that's important. So I started him off in a grave that was outside of Untergard. That was with a bunch of graves. And this would be war graves, which I really liked that I added to Untergard. This war graves scenario. And specifically that and specifically that he's been digging up graves in order to find loot and stuff like that. And one of the graves, he finds literally nothing, just a skeleton. Wah, wah. But the other one has a royal shirt. A quite nice and beautiful shirt. Now, while he picks it up and puts it on, he suddenly feels the blinding pain of a dagger in his back, and then 3 shots from the woods, and one that he can see from a goblin. Oh shit! Yeah, I had him do a perception check before. I had him do a perception check with all the concealment checks that everybody was that all the goblins were doing, but basically. I wrote down the goblin sheet right here, and because there's no elves, blah blah blah, I had them all have like short bows, spears, except for the one that was in melee range, and I basically had all of them just attack him, and I dealt quite a lot of damage to him, and he's still trying to recover that even now, with his 9 wounds, trying to get back to 12, which will be an interesting thing to come back to. Yeah, so this these guys, they scare him off basically because he disengages. And because they want that was their loot, and they didn't necessarily want to go after him because it would be too much of it would be too much of their time, and they wanted to get to the digging of the graves themselves. So he rushes back to town, and he tells Schmidt this. Well, unfortunately, he is still wearing that royal fucking shirt instead of stuffing it away. And Schmidt just goes fucking AWOL. Now, what you might be asking? Why did you do this? This wasn't in the campaign. He didn't say this. Well, that's because I want to add a character to Schmidt. Schmidt, like, he bounces well. He bounces well with other characters. Well, not really with Hans and Derek, but he bounces off well with Granny. Yeah, he bounces well off with Granny, and I like that a lot. Yeah. So he basically goes a little bit. He's like, when he sees him